Welcome to the Down to Get Weird podcast. My guest today, owner of Twister Wrestling, as you can, if you're watching, as you can see on his shirt right now. He inspired me to start a clothing brand myself when I was in college, and he is now the current head coach of the Columbus Discoverers wrestling program, Adam Keiswetter.
All right. I just want to tell the listeners that because we're both like 5'5",
Mm-hmm.
we don't have to be 6 feet apart. It's only 3 foot apart for people of our size. So following the
That is.
following the regulations.
They should scale it
It should
more
be
like that.
one adult height away from people.
You should have like your own certain.
So if you're 5'6", you should have 5.5 feet from people.
Yeah.
Like a kid that's only 2 foot tall, why do they have to be 6 feet away?
I think that's a.
We'll
I think
email
that should be a
You should email that to like the
Trump
CDC.
or CDC.
Yeah.
Whoever it should be.
That'll be on the next press release.
Yeah. So Adam Keiswetter just brought me this Spain championship jersey from 2010.
Yep.
It's a nice gift, which you got in what you told me was Turkey, correct?
Yep. It was
The
the
same trip we were on.
Grand Bazaar in Turkey.
Yeah.
I think. So I was looking at your last episode with Keenan McCurdy, and I saw those jerseys in the background, and I was like, I don't know what Etihad is, and I don't know the other two. So I was like, I'm going to get him a jersey with a team that's won something.
Yeah. Well, thank you. I appreciate it. I also got multiple jerseys while I was there as well, just not this one.
Do you know who the player is?
David Villa, 17 or 7. Sorry.
I would have said Villa, but whatever.
David Villa.
It's like Pico
It's
de
David
Gallo.
Villa.
Pico de Gallo.
Yeah, Pico de Gallo. I like to eat, and David Villa is my favorite soccer player.
Awesome.
Yeah. So, Adam, I was going to. I'm curious. So you're teaching at Columbus as well.
Yep.
What has it been like since all this went down? Just one day, probably around spring break. You guys don't go back. What is that like for a teacher? I guess.
Yeah, so the first week, so first off, I live by myself. So I'm always there by myself. Nothing's changed. It's kind of weird, but that's my lifestyle, I guess.
Yeah.
So the first week, the school just said, like, school's canceled. Because we had spring break the week before everything was canceled.
Yeah.
So they gave us like a 2-week spring break. And then they're like, then we'll come back to school. And then they come back and said, no, we're not. And they said another week. And then they said, no, we're not. And eventually we did online school. So it's been interesting. But, I mean, now school's over, but we were doing online education.
So for you, are you like having to lecture in?
So
I don't even know what you teach, actually.
Health and PE.
Okay, yeah.
So for health, it was like no different than being in the classroom. We had tests. They just did the test on their own time, It's like online test. We would do it like that in the classroom.
Yeah.
They didn't have the textbooks, so that was difficult. But most of the information about health it's available on the internet.
Yeah.
It's kind of, some of it is common knowledge, like, eat your vitamins and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, but we got through our last health test. They took the test. They took a quiz. That stuff was all good to go. But the PE part, it's hard to do because I give you your assignment, do these workouts, and it's hard to be accountable. But we made them, and I know students are out there working hard and doing them and stuff like that. And I'm sure there's people that chose not to.
Yeah, I saw an article in the Journal
difficult.
Star that they said 1/3 of all LPS students, maybe it was just high school students, did not do any work.
Yeah.
They did nothing.
And that's frustrating, but it's no different when you're in the classroom or you're in a wrestling practice. The super hardworking kids are going to give 100% effort. They're going to do everything you're supposed to be doing. They're going to be on task the whole time. There's always going to be that kid who's like, can I go to the bathroom? Or, hey, my knee kind of hurts. Can I just watch practice today? Or, there's always going to be.
But they're there. Like, I mean, these people, so from the article I thought I said, like, they wouldn't even show up.
Yeah.
And then they kind of talked about how different schools, like some schools are more successful than others. Mm-hmm. But would you have 100% participation in your health class? What was that like? Because I saw teachers posting or commenting about, like, literally no one showed up to one of their, multiple classes.
So, I mean,
0 people.
Like I said, though, we give them a test. They all took the test.
Okay.
The good thing about our district, and we are kind of advanced in this aspect, is every kid in our district has a computer.
Yeah.
So,
same with us.
K4 has iPads. 5 through 12 has Chromebooks. and then teachers have,
Yeah.
So they're all used to bringing their computers home, doing homework, so using Google Classrooms. They're all kind of used to it. So that, I don't know, they're ready for it.
Will they be failing people if they didn't do it?
So every district come up with their own regulation on that. Some of them switched pass fail. Some of them did a thing where it was like the previous part of the semester was a greater percentage of your semester grade or something. I mean, this different ways, but I don't know. It's been crazy. The quality of the education was probably less than it would have been if we were in school.
I mean, it has to be.
But there's also benefits, like a kid, if you're accelerated and you want to get your assignment done in 15 minutes, but a class period's 40, you could just get it in 15 and then you'd be done.
Yeah.
But if I was a slower person and I need an hour and 10 and it's only 40-minute class, then you're like, what do I do? I need more time.
And so everything's officially done now, though, right? I'm going to go shut that. But everything's officially
school year is wrapped up. Yep. Grades are reported, all that. Cut. Do you have one of those little take two things?
What?
That little.
Yeah, little.
What's that called?
Well, it's just to the clap thing is just to sync up audio and video.
Do you have one?
I do this if I ever need to do it. But no, this is all being recorded together. So
you should get one. Take two.
Take two.
Cut.
Okay, yeah, I was
You're
just
gonna cut that out.
I might. We'll see. It's a lot of editing work. It's actually not that much editing work, but so obviously wrestling couldn't go on. Like,
so
nothing could go on.
We were on spring break.
Yeah.
We were having practice still because we had the AAU state was happening that weekend, the Huskerland state duels, all that stuff. So we had teams going there. And we were at practice when we found out that it was like a Thursday night. I think it was like March 12th, maybe. I'm not sure the date. Something like that. It was a Thursday night. We found out during practice that the tournament had been canceled. And those kids are bummed out. They've been training for that as a highlight. Our team's done well at those dual tournaments. We've won it before. We've been placing top 3 and stuff like that. So, those kids are all disappointed. And they're like, well, it's okay. We still have the USA State a week later. And then they canceled that one too. So and
then they cancel NCAAs and they cancel everything. So
it's been crazy.
How do you think this will change the next upcoming season, I guess I would say? Or just maybe all sports in general. Have you heard anything about like football, like high school football or fall sports?
Well, nothing official or nothing final. Everybody's saying they're going to make changes. And, some people are saying, like I was watching ESPN today, they said they might not have fans at the like University of Michigan. They're interviewing Harbaugh, and he said, like, our stadium holds 100,000 people, and they said the possibility of 0 people.
Yeah.
So we might face that too. I think they're going to have football. Are they going to limit how many fans can be there? I don't know. Hopefully by the time wrestling season gets there, we're, back to our normal stuff. But the thing about wrestling is, and you know this, we do skin checks. We encourage showering. We're way ahead of any other sport because we've been doing that stuff forever.
Yeah, but
soccer players never been skin checked.
Yes.
So he could have all kinds of diseases and no one cares.
I just wonder if if people will put up with it, continue to put up with it, I guess. Like some of the people are just sick. I know a lot of people who in the beginning were all about, like they were so sold on like, I'm not leaving the house. I'm not doing any of this stuff. I'm going to do everything that is recommended. And then now at this point, most of them are like, yeah, I'm over this. Like we just need to things just need to go back to normal.
Yeah. I don't know if they're ever going to, like youth wrestling tournament. I was thinking about this. I was talking to other coaches. People are sweating. Everyone's grabbing each other. The way wrestlers greet, hey, I underhook you. We hug people. We're very threshold for touching people is, it doesn't faze us. And
those gyms are so small and there's so many people. It's like
a lot of them you go to, it's at a convention center and there's no showering facilities.
Yeah.
Well, that's, not good hygiene. Like in a practice situation, as soon as practice is over, you tell your guys the same thing. Go shower, put on clean clothes, don't reuse towels, all these things. Use antibacterial soap. We encourage this stuff all the time. So I feel like wrestlers are more prepared to deal with this type of stuff than any other sport.
But really. Do you think it has anything to do with the touching and the contact, and as opposed to just like better hygiene?
I mean, there's no, like if you look at the UFC, what they did last week, they had these events in an empty stadium. They tested every fighter and the refs, and then they went and had the fight. Because neither one of them had the virus, they know they're not going to catch it because person who doesn't have it can't give it to another person who doesn't have it, so then they're all good. Now,
Yeah.
can we test every single high school wrestler before every dual meet? No. So I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't know what's going to happen or how they're going to.
I think, I mean, hopefully they come up with something. I guess so the stock market went up big yesterday because there was like rumors that somebody had a cure. I don't think that's the case, but somebody who has stocks and invests in the stock market, I'm pretty happy about it. But I almost think that I'm trying to think about what I want to say right here. I almost think that regardless, moving forward, I don't think things will ever go back to what it was in March and April.
Mm-hmm. But
I don't think we'll ever lock down again or close down. I don't think quarantine will happen again.
Living in
I just
Lincoln,
don't think that will.
if they don't have a Husker football game, you're going to have like a civil war.
That won't happen.
But
that's
if they
the
didn't,
reason why, though.
These people will go crazy.
Happen.
These people will go crazy if you don't have a Husker football game.
I know. It literally will not happen.
Now, if
There's
they
no
had
way
the
there
game
won't
with
be Husker
no
football.
fans, every bar and everything would be packed and everybody just watch it from their
It
house.
wouldn't matter.
Everyone have a Husker party. But if they don't have the game, there'll be a civil war.
Well, see, I think the chain of events, there seriously would be.
There would.
No, literally suicide and like domestic violence would skyrocket if there was no Husker football.
It probably is right now. People just
Oh,
thinking
it
about the
is.
possibility.
Yeah, I guess when China like started to reopen, divorce went up by like 500%
I
or
didn't know
something.
divorce was allowed in China.
I think so.
It is?
Yeah,
Huh.
it is. And
But not in North Korea.
not in North Korea.
Okay.
I would highly doubt it would be allowed in North Korea. Given the opportunity, would you go to North Korea?
Oh, yeah. Just to see what it'd be like. I think it'd be just like that movie, The Interview.
Well, technically, you did have opportunity up until this last like 2 years.
Really?
Yeah.
All right.
Like
so
it was okay for Americans to go there up until Trump banned it. Like
how could
last
you get there?
year
Go
and a
to
half
some
ago.
place, fly to another.
As an American, you have to fly in. You can't cross by land border, but you have to fly in through Beijing, and you have to be on a tour. And you can't. I mean, they
So
have
it's
government minders for
you have, like,
everybody.
a tour
You can't
guide.
like walk around.
Everything's
by yourself.
presented the way they want you to see it.
So,
That'd be
and
interesting.
people can still do that now. Just Americans can't. This is like the first time that we haven't been able to. When, when
'Cause of the
things were
virus
almost
stuff?
when things were no.
Or
Because
like
of-
nuclear war and stuff like
Yeah.
that. Wow.
Which is weird because we had the best relations we'd ever had with North Korea when I was in Asia in 2018.
Hey,
It was like
Dennis
going
Rodman
super
made
well.
friends with them, so we might be good now.
Well, no, it was like really good, and then it just went super downhill. And
Guess
then
I'm
Trump
not
banned
bad
all
on that.
Americans to going, so Americans can't go right now. But
Does North Korea have a wrestling team?
yes, they had a world. They used to have a world champ.
Is that South Korea or North Korea?
It's North Korea.
Really?
57 kilogram.
Wow. I guess some of those like 3-letter.
I think he was an Olympic champ.
Well, you know how in the singlets, like, well, first off, we changed the names of their countries. Like, it's Italy, and then they call it Italia,
Yeah.
or Deutschland, or Germany. So they have a 3-letter
It's
abbreviation.
DPRK in the
I don't know what those stand for. But I know
Democratic
that
People's Republic of Korea, and
every
then
country has 3 letters, but I don't know what all those stand for.
he won Olympic gold in 96, 92. No, there was a guy who was better than that.
That's probably Kim Jong-un.
That's
is
Kim.
Olympic
That's
champ.
Kim Il.
He changed the Wikipedia
That is
page.
Kim Il.
He's Olympic
It's
champ.
just him. Who is
Last
this
edited
guy?
by Kim.
No, there was like a really good one in the 2000s, but I forget who it was. Huh? I don't know. But
Cale Sanderson beat a Korean in Olympic finals.
that was South Korean.
Okay, I just
Yeah.
don't know which one's which. I don't even know what their flag looks like.
You don't know what North Korea's flag looks like?
So, latest news. This is happening tomorrow, May 21st. They're doing the vote whether Nebraska's going to have girls wrestling or not.
Yes.
What do you think about that?
I am in favor of having a girls' division of wrestling.
Do you think it'll pass or no?
Well, it's funny because the Lincoln representatives or people who are voting or whatever
think
it
it's
is,
like-
committee members. I don't know.
I think it's certain athletic directors.
Directors, yeah.
Okay.
They all they're the reason it didn't pass the year before, because they all voted against it, which I think is an LPS thing that they don't want to hide. They don't want to spend more money. I think it will pass.
So someone posted online who voted for it last time, what their names were, and all this stuff.
Yeah.
I think it was on the Nebraska USA Wrestling.
In USA Wrestling.
Yep. And so they even have all the pros and cons spelled out. They have all this stuff. And I read that yesterday. I thought it was pretty interesting. That's happening tomorrow.
What are your thoughts on it?
My thoughts, I don't know how many girls we have at my school that want to wrestle. I mean, if we right now we don't have any on the team, but they go into it knowing the fact that they have to compete against boys.
Yeah.
So I think if you had a girls' state tournament, the numbers would just skyrocket.
Which is what they did kind of have last year, right?
Well, forever. If a girl wants to do it.
Yeah, what I'm saying is, last year they did have like their first. It was an unofficial state tournament.
It was sponsored. It was like at a high school, but it wasn't NSAA sanctioned.
So now it would be.
Yeah, that's what the vote's for.
Yeah. We have girls that are interested that didn't end up wrestling because they wanted to wait.
So I found it is.
I think that will change it.
It's kind of small print, but it has all their names.
What's the website?
It's on the Nebraska USA Facebook page.
Oh, okay.
So has their names, what district they're from, and stuff like that. I guess what I think about it, and why I'm surprised all the states around us have passed it recently, and I think Kansas and Colorado and Iowa, like this last year.
Yeah.
And it's like,
it's inevitable. To me.
The people that are voting no for it, I'm thinking, well, are they against girls basketball? Do they think that girl should just be on the boys' team if she's good enough? Like, and then other people scream discrimination. If the girls don't have equal rights and equal opportunities, then it's unfair and illegal.
Yeah.
But I think, well, if you're against girls having a state wrestling championship, then you should be also against girls golf, girls track, girls tennis, girls basketball, like everything.
Yeah. Yeah, that's. Yeah.
And I don't know how that person would justify that.
I don't see how, because this is the only sport that guys and girls compete against each other in. Is that correct?
As far as I know. Even like golf, there's no contact involved, but they still have, and the girls get to tee off closer.
Yeah.
So there's different, and cross country, the distance, I don't know.
No, they don't run against each other. I don't know how far it is.
In Kansas, and when I was in high school, I did cross country for 2 years, and the boys ran 5 kilometers, which is like 3 miles and something, and the girls did a shorter, maybe it was 2 or 2.5, I don't know the distance, but it was shorter. But otherwise, you'd just say, well, if it's the same distance, why don't just run against each other?
Yeah.
So I feel like if a person one of these administrators are voting no, they should also be saying, hey, let's get rid of girls basketball.
Yeah, it is odd that it's like the one sport that's super, like, physically has a lot of physical contact, and it can be, potentially one of the most violent sports, is the one that they haven't separated the boys and the girls yet. So I bet it passes. It's inevitable. I don't see why it wouldn't pass, but.
So I found this thing.
So do you think – so let's just say that it does pass.
So it's tomorrow at 11 a.m.
And that's –
I'll send it to you.
Is it going to be live on Zoom or something?
Tonight, actually, Nebraska USA Wrestling is doing a Zoom to talk about it, but those people are not necessarily the ones that are voting for it. So do they hold the power to – but they might influence people who are voting.
So let's say how does that change – let's say you're the head coach at Columbus High. What does that change for you guys? Let's say girls have now their own state tournament, and so what's looking different?
Well, that's why I wanted to bring up this document. So the proposal in here, and it's from West Point, Nebraska.
Did you send it to me?
You have like 55 email addresses.
I know. Which one? Send it to my Twister one. I got it up. # Twister Wrestling. Today's podcast is brought to you by Twister Wrestling. You can find it at twisterwrestling.com. If you have any questions, email Adam at twisterwrestling.com. I also have Drew at twisterwrestling.com if you want to just email me and say what's up.
I'm about to send what's up with a PDF document of the Nebraska voting.
So, Adam, we used to do fake.
Did you get it?
We used to do fake sponsors.
Yeah.
You sent to Drew at Twister?
Yep. Did it go?
Not yet. We used to do fake sponsors, and I found out that it's quite illegal.
Really?
Yeah, because if you're saying, like, Dr. Pepper's sponsoring this podcast, and you say something that...
Oh, because they're not.
Because they're not.
So you need to get, like...
Not yet.
You should get De Leon's.
De Leon's.
And just give you one free burrito.
Each podcast.
Well, just... That's it.
And then they're like, how many views do you get? And I'm like this. At least 30.
53. And then
53.
You've been compensated by them. Did you get it? It's sent. It's in my sent email 0 minutes ago.
Oh, got it.
Okay, so in this thing,
I'm looking at it.
It's called the Girls Wrestling. It's small print, but it's all planned out in there. It even has the practice situation, whether or not schools need to hire additional coaches, and stuff like that. And then at the bottom, last year, West Point Public Schools, and it has all the breakdown. It says they paid their coach this much, which if you want to get into high school coaching, you could make a whopping $1,795.
Jeez. So what page is it on?
Page 4.
What
The
else?
total that West Point spent on girls wrestling was basically $5,000. Now, but here's the catch on this: you only need to buy singlets once. You can wear the singlets for up to 10 years, probably.
Yes,
unless you're
that's
Lincoln
true.
East and you have these weird
this
white
the
and blue
proposal?
singlets, and then you can't wait to
I
get
found
new ones.
bowling proposal.
Yeah, keep going.
Down? So what page? You said 4. Oh, swimming, girls wrestling. Okay.
See the 4 at the bottom?
Oh,
That's page 4.
gotcha. Well, I thought the page.
Anyways, if you buy weird-looking singlets like Lincoln East, that's white on one side and blue on one side, and you can't wait to get rid of them, you might want to invest more frequently. But if this West Point singlet, they got nice singlets that people enjoy and they represent their school good, then they could,
So
they're not going to spend $5,000 every year.
Yeah.
The upfront cost of the singlets is a one-time deal. They're always going to have to get tournament entry fees. They're always going to have to travel, and they're always going to have the coach's salary. But so the $5,000 is a one-time. After that, maybe it's $2,000 or $3,000.
Yeah, they should have a clause in here that
They should have specified that.
forbids Keenan McCurdy from designing any singlets for girls wrestling or for boys wrestling.
What brand were those?
I think they were Clinch Gear.
Okay, that company doesn't make singlets anymore.
Oh, well, that's good.
Their company still exists. They're making
I don't
face
blame
masks.
Clinch
They're making
Gear.
face masks.
Yeah, I don't blame Clinch Gear. I blame.
Yeah, I like to tease you guys. Now
Yeah,
you have
well, those were the worst singlets.
now you have
in our
like an
school's
all
history.
blue singlet basically with the Spartan logo.
We got the East.
Oh, it's
Across.
just all blue, right? And just East. Or is the
You
East
mean
on
our
the leg?
new one?
I
No,
think-
so we have the all blues with the East on the leg.
Okay.
Like Iowa's, but blue and
Or
white.
like what you guys used to have, like 1988.
well, we used to have, yeah. Well, in 90s and 2000,
Yeah.
yeah, the old ones.
Just East.
But then we had the white ones with the blue East. Those were our championship ones for the 2003.
I have bad
Omaha
memories of
or
that because Helwig beat me up and
Yeah.
almost tech faulted me. So
Shout out Marcus Helwig.
I did that Men in Black memory eraser device.
Yeah.
Gone. Erased it from memory.
And then now we got the all blues. They're blue, but they say East across the chest. Has a Spartan head on the back.
That's the one I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
That's
those
your
are
newest.
Those are our newest ones.
Okay, yeah.
So those are now our championship singlets.
Well, but anyways, back to this thing.
Yeah.
That equipment is $1,870. That's a one-time deal. They can reuse those
I'm
uniforms.
really not here. I'm gonna look at your thing. Oh, you really zoomed in. Okay.
So
Way at the bottom.
it's not gonna. And $5,000. A school like what do you think the Lincoln Public Schools budget is for a year?
Well, yeah. Oh,
It's probably like
a lot.
It's probably like 400 million or something.
So here's the thing. Here's
$5,000
why LPS doesn't like this. I'm assuming. This is my guess.
They
And
spend more money than that.
I'm not an employee of LPS.
They
so
spend more money on
I
that
can say
making
this.
copies in a week.
Yeah. So this says girls head coach $1,795. That
Yep.
is not what LPS will pay their head coaches or their coaches, their assistant coaches.
But that guy was already there working as an assistant coach. They just renamed him
Yes.
girls head coach.
But what I'm saying is
he was already going to get paid that.
they probably can't do that in LPS because then if it's like, oh, we're going to a girls tournament, then there needs to be a girls head coach. Then if there's a JV tournament, there needs to be a JV head coach. And then if there's varsity, then there's got to be a varsity coach. But with varsity, oftentimes we're taking vans or we're doing all these other things to where we need 2 or 3 paid coaches there.
So some schools might be able to change the job title of the assistant wrestling coach to girls coach. It's the same guy, same money, same $1,700. Other schools might have to add a coach if they add a whole bunch. But you have 2 basketball coaches.
I know. Well, here's the thing:
You have 2 track coaches.
it
2
doesn't matter
golf
how many
coaches.
kids you have at LPS. Every team gets the exact same amount of everything.
Right. I don't know, but
I mean this is why I believe if LPS is against it, which I don't know if they are, but why
it doesn't matter which school district's against it. The reasoning is probably the money part.
Yeah, it would be the money.
That's it.
Is because
There
now
can't
it's
be
like
any-
okay, so now do they need it's just probably travel
So
and
it
different
even has it
tournaments
spelled
and-
out like how many schools there are. There's 229 wrestling teams basically.
Yeah.
And they're not going to get 229 girls wrestling teams next year. They're going to get a
No.
few, and it's going to slowly build. But they'll never have any if they don't have a state tournament. Because as you know, the reason why you want to be a wrestler is you want to be a state champion.
Yeah.
The reason why you want to be a college wrestler is because you want to be a national champion.
Yes.
That's why you do it. That's
Yeah.
the pursuit. That's what you're training for. You're not going to I'm just going to go out for a sport I can't compete in.
Yeah.
Like,
And
how
I
many
think-
kids go to practice, like youth wrestlers, and don't go to a single tournament?
Yeah, not many.
Even the ones that just say, and I would recommend, if you had a son and he's 5 years old, I'd say just have him practice for a year.
Yeah.
And then by the end of the year, he's going to be like, Dad, can I go to a tournament?
Yeah.
I want to go. I want to win a trophy. I want to get
Yeah.
a medal. And then you're like, that's the.
And I go, son, you have my genetics, which means you're not going to win.
Unless he picks bottom.
Unless choose bottom.
He could get second a bunch of times, though.
That's true.
Third, second.
Third, second.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, at least he never lost more than once.
That is true.
Because lots of people lose 2.
That is true.
And
That
the
does
sixth
happen
place
sometimes.
guys lose 3 times.
Hey, it could always be worse,
Getting 6th, the worst.
I mean, technically, sometimes it maybe couldn't be worse, but a
Last
lot of
summer,
times it could be worse.
I was in a school, I can't where it was. And there's a guy, he got 6th place 4 times.
I know who you're talking about, and I know what school that was.
And there's someone tried
I
to tell
believe
me.
my brother wrestled that person.
Well, someone tried to tell me the backstory, and there was he got injured a couple times or something, so he had to forfeit the 6th place. It wasn't like he just got 6th. But I was like, wow, that's crazy.
Once we're off air, I'll ask you who
Okay.
that is, because
So-
I'm pretty sure I know who this is.
But anyways, I think there should be girls wrestling. A lot of people probably want to sue. And I imagine if the guy who has a daughter who's a senior in high school right now, and next year going to be senior, and if they vote yes tomorrow, she could be a state champion. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah.
They're going to be very angry if they vote no. But if it's $5,000 per school, I bet you they could get donations. They could get fundraising. There's a lot of. If it's just $5,000, that's not that much.
No. Yeah,
In the
and
big scheme.
I think most people will vote yes on it, and I think it will pass.
And it has to have so many. I don't know. What is it? Is it 2/3 or something?
Oh, really? Well, hopefully it does pass. And do
The-
you think at all this, with the current situation that the world is in, and
I don't know, man.
finances probably going down? Actually, the school systems could be saving a lot of money right now.
You have to have 3/5 majority of the delegates for it to pass.
60%.
That's like a D in.
D's get
School.
degrees.
Yep.
You heard it here
So,
first.
I don't know. I think everything's going down right now. They're talking about how much, look at all the stores closing and the sales tax revenues went way down. The
Yeah.
stores only open. It's like
Yeah.
8% or whatever, but 8% is zero. So,
And they're still having payroll. They just don't have to run,
and we're still
as many services
spending
at
a lot
the
on
school.
taxes. People are unemployment.
Yeah.
I don't know. We might not have any wrestling next year.
Yeah,
we
I
might
mean,
not have any football
So
next
let's
year.
say that's the situation.
If that's the
What
reason,
happens?
this is a very unique situation because this year they're trying to pass this and all their budget's going down.
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
That's
have an answer for that.
the
But if all they had to do is raise $5,000, I bet you every school that wanted to have a girls wrestling team could fundraise $5,000.
yeah.
They could do a GoFundMe
for
page
sure.
and do it in a couple hours.
Yeah.
Or you just get a big
Or just
corporation.
do a fundraiser somehow
What's a big corporation in Lincoln that has a factory or something?
Tyson
Huddle. I don't know.
Huddle. Huddle.
Hey, would you give $5,000 to Lincoln East have
Yeah.
a girls wrestling team? They're like, sure. It's
Well,
like a tax
they can't.
write-off or
They
something.
can't do that, but
There could be a way to
in
get
most
donations.
other
Yeah.
districts and systems, school systems or whatever, they would be able to do that.
5,000 would be easy enough.
LPS would, if this passes, LPS will put the money out there to do it. I
You do like Little
guarantee
League
that.
baseball.
They have to.
They have an Amigos team. They have a
Yeah.
McDonald's team. They have the Burger King,
Yeah.
whatever it is.
And most
could do that with girls
districts
wrestling.
will allow that to happen. I agree.
You could find a donation for $5,000 and then that could be their startup for the team.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see tomorrow if it passes or not.
Yeah. What time is it tomorrow?
It has here the breakdown.
Is that going to be like a live voting thing?
I think it's a Zoom meeting, just like everything else.
Huh.
They're voting on bowling, which I don't think bowling will pass. My personal opinion is I don't think
Yeah.
bowling's a sport. You can say it is.
Now that's a good discussion we could get into.
Yeah. Is cheerleading a sport? Is bowling a sport?
What is a sport and what is a game?
Yeah. And which little activities are worthwhile for a school to spend resources on?
Yeah.
Kind of like swimming. None of the high schools, very few, have a swimming pool. It's a big thing. Like where they can have practice, where they can have the competitions, but do they have a bowling alley on the campus? No.
Yeah.
So they have to rent the
Well,
facility.
I think they would end up having to go out and rent from their local.
But no one has a bowling alley.
Same with golf. It's the same way they do
True,
with golf.
true.
So.
Yep.
But
that is
I think golf
tomorrow.
is just a bigger sport.
But bowling
Granted,
is happening
Bowling would be
tomorrow.
fun, like, to do. Also, golf would be fun to do.
You should read this thing.
If East wasn't so good
It
at
says,
golf, I would have gone out for it.
Pros, students who compete in bowling, something like it's the only activity they would participate in or something like that.
Is that like did they do like a poll on that?
No, I don't know. It says rationale. Bowling provides opportunities for athletic competition for students who may not compete in any other sports or represent.
It says winter sports or represent their school. This is an additional offering in the winter for both boys and girls. Huh. That's pretty interesting.
I don't know if you guys do this. Every year I tell the basketball coach, hey, if there's anybody that you're going to cut or they can't make your team, tell them to join wrestling.
100%. We do the same.
Then if there's anybody who can make the wrestling team, they can join the bowling team.
Yep.
So it could be just the filter down effect.
Quite a few guys.
Can't make the basketball team, go to wrestling. I can't start there. I'm going to go to the swimming team. I can't swim fast. I'm bowling.
So how about this organized, practiced adjustment for wrestling?
Oh.
That proposal's on there too.
So we have a rule. Now, during the school year.
This is a pretty ridiculous rule, but
I don't know how they came up with it.
Explain the rule.
Okay. During the school year, out of season. So it's both before and after the wrestling season. If you want to have practice, you can only have 4 wrestlers in there in the room at a time. Now, you could have 4 wrestlers in the wrestling room and 4 other wrestlers go for a jog, and you could swap them out, or you could have 4 wrestlers in the weight room and 4 and you could trade, but it's got to be 4. But at least it's not an odd number, because then you would have partners. So at least they did pick an even number. But it's 4. Now, the people that argue against this is football does 7-on-7 leagues. So they got 7 out of 11 of their guys that would be on the field are able to do stuff in the off season and all that. And we only have 4 out of 14. So the percentage
in basketball, it would be 4 out of 5, which is 80% of your team can practice.
Of your starters, at least.
Yeah, but at least then they could only go 2 against 2, so you can't even.
No.
That's still probably not that good for them. And this will adjust.
I feel like
to
that
8.
should be a no-brainer.
Yeah, and so this one says it will adjust it to 8 people.
Now, that hasn't been voted on before. If you look at the girls wrestling one, it says like District 1, there's 2 yeses and 39 no's. District 2 has 58 yeses and only 12 no's. So that one seems like it should pass. And the other one, where it's the practice thing, it's a little bit, it's about slightly over half. To me, it should be a no-brainer.
So that's an NSAA rule that states all this.
But all the stuff that we're talking about right now is proposals that people are bringing to the NSAA, and then they're all going to vote on it.
Yeah, and so that's also a big thing for wrestling is going to off-season tournaments, to whereas if you get better participation in off-season tournaments, now your coach can no longer coach you. If you take 4 kids to fall brawl, you can coach those 4 kids. If you bring 5 kids, you can coach 0 of those kids.
Yep.
So you actually get punished for getting more participation, I guess would be the word.
It's illegal to work hard for free.
Yep. It's so messed up, and
they're not going to send you in jail for doing that. But
yeah, so this would be. I don't really see the cons here.
The analogy I came up with is, if you worked at Walmart, and your job is to take the carts out in those little cart things and push them back inside, and you went there on a day you're not working, and you're like, oh, look, the guy who's working the cart, it's overloaded. I'm going to help him out and I'm going to push 50 of those back in.
Yeah. They
would probably give you the employee of the month. They would say thanks. They would be like, wow, because they got video cameras. They saw you do it,
Yeah.
But they know that you're not on the clock. You went in there and did your job when you're not being paid to do your job. Yeah. You would be celebrated for that. But if you're a coach and you do your job for free in the off season when you're not being paid to do your job, then it's against the rules.
Yep. Yeah, it doesn't make a whole
That'd be like
lot
Walmart
of sense.
Firing that guy instead of giving him the employee of the month.
Yeah.
So it's
that's a good comparison. That is
really unusual that they came up with that.
So hopefully, and so I'm looking at it right now, and so they
all rules can be changed. You just have to make a proposal and then have to bring it to these committees and stuff. And they have a process. I don't know how long that takes.
So this was
This is the second time they've.
And this has never been voted on. So it says like District 1, yes. They have all these yeses
Right.
and nos.
They had it says January district, so they do apparently
It's
do
like a preliminary vote.
But the girls wrestling is the second time this has been presented to the
Yeah.
SA. Last year it didn't pass,
Gotcha.
and
So-
they tweaked it. They made some changes.
Well, hopefully this one goes as well.
My idea with the girls wrestling was because you're probably not going to have a Lincoln North Star versus Lincoln Southwest girls wrestling duel in year one.
Yes.
Because are they both going to have enough girls to even? What are the weight classes? I don't even know.
Yeah.
I know like Texas and Hawaii has a set of weight classes they
Yep.
follow. Now, what if Southeast or Southwest only has 4 girls and Lincoln North Star only has 4 girls and none of them match up?
Yeah.
They can't do dual meets.
Yeah, I think you could.
So it's going to be primarily tournaments.
Yeah, you could implement a Class D similar setup for the girls, at least initially,
As
to
far
where
as the state qualification procedure.
yeah, you just get so many people to go to districts.
Districts open
doesn't matter
tournament.
who.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what
2
weight.
per weight, whatever. Yeah.
And
So
then-
my idea was make a bunch of like co-ops. Lincoln
Yeah.
has one girls team, and they could practice it whichever school they're
Wherever.
in.
Yeah.
And that would save money. Instead of, is there 5 schools here?
6 public.
Okay, so that's
6 public
$30,000 a year going by that West Point model. Now,
Yeah.
if you said Lincoln has one girls team, okay, and Omaha has one, or maybe Millard has a girls team, whatever.
Yeah.
And then what you could do is when they acquire enough girls, let's say Lincoln East has 15 girls just from Lincoln East. They're like, you know what? We're not going to be on the Lincoln combined co-op team anymore. We could just be on the Lincoln East team, and there could still be a Lincoln team with all the other.
Yeah.
And as soon as they get to the numbers, they could like break away from the. I think that would be a good system to slowly build up the numbers and create like a competitive atmosphere because they need training partners.
Yeah, for sure.
And they need, people like, because if I'm the smallest weight class and my only teammate is the biggest weight class, it's like, what am I supposed to
Well,
do?
I also think what at least a lot of schools are going to propose is that they still practice with the boys. They just go
that's in
and
that.
compete differently because I know that's what Lincoln does. So Lincoln already does this for pole vaulting. At least they used to.
So they have one pole vault.
There's one pole vault. I think everybody goes to Lincoln High, and that's where all the pole vaulters go in the whole state
That's the exact co-op
or in the whole
situation.
city of Lincoln
Yeah,
because
that's exactly what I was thinking.
one, it's like it's probably the most dangerous track sport into where I think there's like just a pole vault coach. I'm not 100% sure on that, but there's like LPS hires one pole vault coach or like 2 or 3 pole vault coaches, but it's not necessarily at a school. It's
And you might have the safest facilities for it. With
Yeah, and then
proper
you can get
padding and
that.
stuff. That
So I wonder
could
if they would have them, if they would do that different, if they would have girls practice and boys practice, or if they would just combine them. And then, then it comes into, do you allow, I guess you can allow, I guess you're not supposed to wrestle with your kids anyways in like live scenario,
Right.
but like even, I wonder how LPS or just a lot of these school districts would handle having male coaches.
Well,
with
volleyball
female
has,
wrestlers.
basketball has a lot of guys.
But it's not physical contact.
But
It's a lot. That's where it's like a difference.
because the
of,
volleyball
like,
coach has to be like, all right, girls, everybody get changed. I'm coming and give the pregame speech. And then they say, hey, okay, we're all good. And then they go in.
Oh, is that how that
basketball
works?
teams do the same.
Yeah.
I think.
I would imagine.
I've
Yeah.
never-
I guess I've
personally-
never even thought about that.
So, there's procedures in place for all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. But
How
the
many
thing is with
female
wrestling
wrestling
is it's a
coaches-
lot of like, okay, I'm going to demonstrate this wrestling move
right.
on you.
But you could do it a lot. You do this already. You have kids demonstrate stuff.
That's true. Yeah.
When
It's just a lot
your
of
coach
times
gets
that's
to
not as an effective way. I
Right.
think, and maybe they just say, you know what, don't ever do that.
But as a
Just have
coach, when
kids
you get
demonstrate it.
older, you realize my shoulder's going to dislocate. I'm going to have these kids demonstrate.
Yeah, for sure.
It's the same thing. You
Yeah.
can talk them through it. You get one.
I don't think it's a big thing. I just wonder if
Yeah.
it's
I'm sure that's
how they would go about all of that.
Yeah,
and-
I'm sure that's one of the things that people who are trying to convince people to vote no on that are bring. That's like one of the things.
that's one of the things they're bringing up.
probably.
Just playing a little devil's advocate here.
Yeah, yeah.
So hopefully all these things pass. What are the other ones? Girls
That's it.
wrestling,
Bowling.
NSAA rules and regulations.
There's something about football camps,
Oh, okay.
but I don't coach football, and there's
Really?
very heavily. One of them was 80-0. I think it has something to do with like wearing pads and stuff at camps versus just regular practice.
Oh,
No contact rule.
I
I
gotcha.
know they've got rid of like they used to have 2-a-days and all these things, and I think they've because it's you bring a bunch of kids that haven't worked out very intensely all summer and just hit hard on
Throw
day
them in
one.
there.
Yeah, it's not good. They need to, phase them in or whatever.
I always found it weird that softball would always have at least a few games before school started.
Yeah.
I always found that so weird.
Yeah.
Where it's like it's literally impossible for you to be ineligible because school hasn't even started
Like,
yet.
do you have any Fs?
And you're already playing.
Don't have any grades.
At least you don't have to worry about the grades. Softball's a really short season too. Like into October.
And a lot of them get canceled because of rain and stuff.
Yeah. That is that's an interesting.
We have to do a follow-up episode to see what the
see
what
how all this turns out. All right, so give me the whole. Okay, I want to hear more about you just doing twister wrestling stuff. Granted, obviously, so people who know wrestling would know a twister is a wrestling move that you have perfected. You made a DVD series about it, and that DVD series has been going for a long time. And
I think I've sold like, I don't know, 2,500 to 3,000 copies or something.
Nice. I have at least one, if not.
And you've hit it in a match before.
I have hit it in a match in college.
It's interesting. So a lot of people are like, you need to be well-rounded. You need to be able to do several techniques from neutral, from bottom, from top, all these things, But I could do all that, but I just became really good at one thing. And then it became, let's shake hands. They blow the whistle. I'm going to attempt the twister. If I pinned him, I'm done in 15 seconds. I'd get out of there.
Yeah.
You're not tired.
Short day.
You're not injured, so you're ready for the next match.
Yeah.
Initially, I would just do it on guys who were, like, for lack of a better term, an easy match. The guy that I was probably going to beat anyways, but it'd be like a save energy for later. And then once I got better and better at it, it became I could almost do it every time. So the fun part was watching the coach go there and like, he's going to do this, and I'm just like, I know. And then you still do it.
It's like this, I'm going to do that.
Yeah.
You're not going to stop it.
It's pretty cool to do something when they think that they don't think you can do it, and you still do it.
I remember when you were coaching and I was at UNK, and I was like, I am not going to let him twister me, and then you still twister me, and I get so pissed.
And the funny part is, and people thought that I like spent all this time practicing it, once I kind of got it down, I would purposely not do it in practice.
And then from that, you did all this.
The opposite of what you'd think.
Yeah. You just do it the other side, or?
Well, no, I just wouldn't do it in practice much.
Oh.
Just rarely. If I was there and I was like, I guess.
Might as well.
Because I was trying to get.
It's kind of like a cheat move almost.
Kind of.
It kind of is.
Like a video game.
Yeah.
So but what I would do is I was constantly trying to get better at everything else because they knew I was going to try to do that. And there was guys like that I'd repeatedly compete against them. Like Mitch Waite, man. I don't know the exact number. I think we wrestled each other either 10 or 12 times. And we almost went back and forth. I think he got me one more time. So maybe we wrestled 11 times and he beat me 6 or something like that. But, you got to have other stuff. As they say, you can't be the...
So I'll put a link in the show notes and in the description.
You can't have just one thing you do, but...
Yeah.
But also I think everyone needs it. And it doesn't matter if it's a wrestling move or... Everybody is really good at one thing, and you don't know what it is. Is it playing the guitar? Is it skateboarding? Is it throwing darts? Is it being soccer goalie?
Yeah.
Even within a sport, you might have a specific skill set. Like, I'm a really good goalkeeper, but I can't kick a goal.
Yeah.
And once people find out what they're good at, then you can find success. So that's kind of what I did with the twister as far as... And
you made a DVD series and marketed it well.
So,
and
then I tried to
he's repping all of his gear. He's got the new Twister Wrestling hats. I got like fight shorts.
Yeah.
They're Twister Wrestling, tons of shirts. One of my emails.
So what I was thinking was, hey, what if I never learned it? I would never have had the success I had.
Yeah, for sure.
All those matches where I was either losing and then came back and won, or started off with the lead because I got a 5-point move.
Yeah.
I would have lost all those matches. Odds are.
Yeah.
So if my winning percentage was 80, it could have been 40.
Yeah.
So I was like, I want to share it with other kids so that they could learn it and have the same success, or at least try to. When
you were at Franklin, so the first school you coached at, didn't you have a state champ who just hit tons of twisters?
Actually, that kid, his name was Ethan Cars. He took third at state.
I got third.
But he was really good at it. He's probably better at it than I was.
Really?
But another thing is I didn't learn it till I was a sophomore in high school.
Okay.
So now I always think of, like, if I had a time machine, I'd go back and teach myself when I was 8 years old or something.
Yeah.
Who knows how good I could have got with it in high school and
college.
You
hit it on some really good guys in college.
Yeah, so... But I didn't learn it until I was...
Yeah.
Now, maybe that was better for me because I had a well-rounded basics before I learned that special technique. So there's, you never know. You can't go back in time unless if you create a time machine. I want to get the Powerball numbers.
Yeah, I would grab a sports almanac.
Make some bets.
Yeah, literally, if you had one day of a sports almanac, you could make billions of dollars.
Is that what he does in the Back to the Future movie?
Yeah. But I thought about that before I saw that portion of the Back to the Future. This is Back to the Future 2. I just watched it a few weeks ago, but I was like, I had thought about that.
I think you could get more
times.
money with less investment by the Powerball because it's a $2 ticket. You'd have to bet $1 million on the Super Bowl.
Well, or you could just do like a $5
the parlay.
40 team parlay, which pays out like $18 billion
every baseball game
hit it.
on one day.
Well, here's the thing, though, is I don't even know if those.
You probably can't make those kind of bets.
You probably couldn't make that much money. It's like, well, not only are we out of business, but
anyways,
like
would have been better if I'd go back and if I had a time machine and about the Powerball ticket and the sports gambling. Would it be better if I went back when I was 8 years old and taught myself, and then I started doing it? Would I have lost all the other things I had, high crotches, low singles, all that stuff?
Yeah.
Or would I fall in love with that and forget about the other stuff and then end up being worse?
I think you see a lot of youth kids do that.
Yeah.
Where they like love a high flyer or they love all these other like what a lot of people would call junk moves, which I don't call them junk moves because if they work, then
it kind of is. The headlock, same way.
Yeah, but if you have a really good headlock and you can headlock, I mean, Darren Caldwell would headlock the best guys with it.
Metcalf.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Here's my thing as a coach. That's the thing I'm good at. I'll share it with anybody.
Yeah.
Because I just want them to have the chance to have the same success, kind of like what I did. I learned it, and then I started doing it, and it was working for me.
Mm-hmm.
As a coach, I never try to turn that person into me.
Yeah.
I want to get you to be the best version of you as possible.
Yeah.
And if hitting a twister is part of that, that's awesome. I'd be super happy, very proud. I love seeing guys I taught 5 years ago hit one in a match in the state championship or something. But I'm not trying to turn them into me, and I'm not trying to get them to primarily do the move that I was good at. I want them to do the stuff they're good at.
Yeah.
And that's what's cool about wrestling. Tall, skinny guys can be good. Short, thick guys can be good. Everybody can figure out what works for their body type, and then
it literally is one of the only sports that you don't necessarily have to be that athletic. Like I think obviously having athleticism is going to help.
Yeah.
But there's you do see guys who are not that athletic who can have a lot of success in it, and that is an interesting.
Well, and there's so many variables to wrestling. Like in football, you just play linebacker. You just basically tackle people. Mm-hmm. Or you're a lineman and you just block. In wrestling, we do everything. Well, every offensive, defensive, every top and bottom and neutral, and just there's so many things that each person has to be able to do. And that's why people of different body types can figure out what works for them. So
this is going to bring up a little debate that has been contested on some of the wrestling media throughout the last, year. But are you a fan of overtime or criteria to decide? Let's throw it in folk style. Let's say they put it in folk style. Would you rather have a match end on criteria? So by what that means is let's say the score is 6-6, but somebody scored last. Whoever scored last is going to win.
I like overtime.
Or overtime where you just keep
because let's say, we can all make this argument and it's basically an excuse, but if there is a bad call by an official and it's tied because of that, you as a wrestler have an opportunity to overcome that and beat the guy. If there's a bad call by a referee or, what you consider to be wrong, because every single ref, when they put their fingers in the air, 2, it makes 50% of the people happy, 50% of the people sad. It doesn't matter if it's a bad call or a good call. It's just they're all happy because that's their guy they're cheering for.
Yeah.
They're all happy that's the guy they're cheering for. But if it's one of those, and maybe it's not a bad call, it's just a close call. Was your foot in or out, or was you in 45 degrees or was it 47 degrees, and they did the back points. But if it's tied and one of those close calls happen or a bad call, you have the chance as an athlete to overcome that. But if criteria and it matches over and then it's like, oh, that was a 3-point near fall. I thought it was a 2. He was only back for 4 seconds and the ref 3 points. Yeah. That's why I think overtime. And I like the conditioning aspect. Yep. I like the fact that if you're in better shape and you wear them out, you go overtime. I always told myself, I prided myself on winning overtime matches. I know I lost some, but I'd say overall,
You won way more than you lost.
Way more. Maybe 70 or 80%.
I think the main argument is that the excitement would get going. And I think you do a lot of times see guys just kind of stall out the third period just to get to overtime.
Well, if you're down by 2 and if you get that takedown, you win on criteria, you're going a lot harder.
Yeah.
A lot harder.
Or if it's 6-6.
But if you're
and
down
you're
by 2.
losing by criteria.
Yeah, but if you're down by 2 and you need the takedown to tie it, and then it's going to go overtime, and then you have to get another takedown to beat the guy, and you're just like, I'm not saying me personally, but I could understand the mindset of the person who's thinking, I need to get 2 more of these to win. Yeah. Then it's hard to get the energy to do it.
It's interesting. I still don't. I was always about overtime because I don't like the idea of each person scoring the same amount of points, but yet one of them wins. Yeah. I don't like that. It doesn't seem like.
Have you ever went to a soccer game that ends in a tie?
Yeah.
So I was telling you about this. I went to the Rapids versus Chiva. Is that what it's called?
Chivas.
It was a tie.
Yeah.
And it went overtime.
Zeros? But was it zeros?
It was 1-1. And it went overtime. Still a tie. And everyone started leaving. I was like,
well, did it go extra time or did it go overtime?
I don't know the terminology. I'm not.
Did it go to 95 minutes? Because it's 90 minutes.
It went all the time they allowed, but no shootout. Yeah. And I was like, whoa, you can't tie. And they're like, it's over. Tie. And everyone's leaving. The people are leaving the bleachers, the stadium. I was like, no, they have to find a winner. And they're like, no, there's ties in soccer.
I do think that's.
I wanted a shootout.
I do think that's one reason why soccer is not as big of a sport in the U.S. because Americans do not like tying.
But that's why I'm against one of the reasons why I'm against criteria.
Yeah, no, I
don't want it to be. You won 6-6.
I think my first 3 pro soccer games I went to all ended 0-0.
Did you know in high school wrestling it used to be ties?
Yeah.
In dual meets.
Yep.
If you tied, I'm not sure. My brother tied like twice in his career. They gave each team, it might have been 2 or 3 points for the team score.
Probably 2 or something.
But they didn't do overtime. Only in tournaments because you had to advance the bracket. I don't know what year that changed.
So the way it goes in soccer is if you win, you get 3 points. If you draw, each team gets 1 point.
Yeah, in the bracketing.
Yeah.
But, okay, so it's 45 minutes, halftime, 45 minutes, right?
Yep. But they have things called extra time, which is...
Well, I would call it overtime.
Because the clock never stops.
Right.
Ever. So if there's an injury, some guy breaks his leg.
And it counts up.
Yeah, the clock is still going.
Do you think wrestling, the clock should count down or up?
Down.
Because then you want to look at the scoreboard and be like, oh, there's 13 seconds left.
Yeah.
Not 2:47.
Well, it's much more understandable for everyone.
So
does that make sense?
Like international wrestling,
soccer clock goes up.
Yeah, and international wrestling, the clock goes up. Have you ever noticed that?
Yeah, it is weird.
So you have to do the math.
Yeah, I don't like it.
Maybe encourage smarter people.
Especially people who are just watching as a random spectator. They don't know.
Well, they look at
if it's going down, everyone realizes it's over at
that's
zeros.
How much left. Yeah.
Yeah. So I hate
absolutely no math.
It doesn't really make a lot of sense, but whatever. But
I feel like the people who like criteria who also might not mind if the clock went up. Maybe that's just a strange mindset.
Oh, that is that's interesting. They should do maybe that's like a personality
Venn diagram.
Yeah. However many people want
overtime criteria.
And then just
clock going down.
People who want the clock to go down or the clock to go up.
There might have to be 3 circles.
I had one more wrestling thing that some sort of a debate, and I'm totally slipping on it right now.
Headgear.
Headgear in high school. Let's go with that one. What do you think?
I don't like headgear.
Why not?
So, let's not make this about what you think of as wrestling headgear.
Yeah.
And let's think of it as a thing that goes on your head from other sports. Okay?
Okay.
Motorcycles. You have to wear a helmet, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, in motorcycle racing, you have to. Now, in the streets, if you choose not to, not in Nebraska, but in a lot of other states, you wear it if you want, don't wear it if you don't. If you lived in Kansas and you don't want to wear a motorcycle helmet, then you don't have to.
Really?
Yep. So
did not know that.
Football, you have to wear a helmet, right? If you go out on the field without a helmet, I think it's some sort of penalty or something.
Oh, of course. Yeah, if you take your helmet off on the field now, it's a penalty.
So other sports that have something that goes on your head? I'm trying to think. Like in baseball,
you have to wear a hat.
can you take the hat off?
You can take the hat off, but
Will
you
it be a
can't play
penalty of some
without
sort?
it. Like, that's a good question. Let me look that up. Keep going.
But I feel like it's optional. Now,
well,
batting,
you can like do this, and do that. But I'm pretty sure you.
well, I
have
feel
to,
like they're wearing
I'm
it
pretty
to
sure you have
shade
to
their eyes. But I don't think they have to.
But it's also just a thing. Like,
right, it's a tradition.
catchers can wear it backwards,
it's
obviously.
a tradition, but I don't think they have to. I feel like if a guy went out there, like
I've never seen it.
Bryce Harper goes out there wearing no hat, and I forgot it in the dugout, they're not going to disqualify him and kick him out of the game or fine him $25,000 or something. I don't know, but I don't know the rule. But I'm just thinking of all the sports where some sort of head covering,
The official rules of baseball don't specifically say a player must wear a cap, other than a helmet while batting or running the bases.
Yeah. So it's optional. If you want a hat.
But it's 100% of people. I've never seen someone not do it, at least in majors.
If you go out there and you don't have a headgear on, the ref says you're not properly prepared for a match. They won't let you compete without a headgear.
Yeah.
You have to. Now in baseball, they're not going to kick you out of the game if you didn't wear a hat. Now everyone's wearing a hat for the most part. So it's like an expectation but not a requirement, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think you should be able to wear it if you want.
Yeah. 100%. So if a kid wants to wear headgear, wear headgear. Why don't you have to wear 2 knee pads? I wear 2 knee pads and I wrestle. Everybody should wear 2 knee pads.
Yeah.
It warms up your knees. It's like an extra cushioning
if it's
layer.
An optional thing. Yeah, that makes sense.
It prevents the chafing and it prevents skin diseases because your knees get scuffed and bloodied sometimes.
Yeah.
So why don't we have to wear 2 elbow pads?
I guess to play devil's advocate, so you could say that, and this would obviously not be the case in college, but in high school, people could be shamed into not wearing, like by their teammates, to not wearing headgear. I remember I was the only guy at Nebraska who practiced with headgear on during freestyle practice. But that was mostly because I didn't.
That is another weird thing.
It is weird, but I didn't. Yeah, no freestylers.
In freestyle, if the guy's wearing a headgear, and I think at senior level,
they can make him take it off.
You can say no. I don't want him to have that. It's kind of like UFC fighter with the ankle wraps.
David Taylor did it against Burroughs, and Burroughs made him take it off at U.S. Open.
Yeah.
I
so
think.
In the UFC, if the guy comes out there with 2 like ankle braces on, you can tell him, I don't want him to wear those and take them off.
Seriously?
Yeah.
I don't think you could wear an ankle brace.
Well, it's like a.
Oh, like a.
It looks like they tape their ankle, but it's kind of like a slip-on neoprene. I don't know.
And they can make him take it off.
Yeah. So, freestyle wrestling, he can't wear the headgear. Take it off.
Yeah, that is weird.
I think it should be a personal choice. Like.
Yes.
This great analogy is a motorcycle. Not all 50 states have the same law, but in a lot of states, if you want to wear a helmet, you wear a helmet. If you don't want to, you don't. You have
good cauliflower ear. You don't have bad cauliflower ear.
If I wanted to, I don't. When I buy
Did you drain it, or is that just kind of how it did it?
I iced it, actually. So mine was caused by headgear. The guy grabbed the headgear, and he pulled, and it sliced my ear, and that popped it.
Yeah. Huh.
This one just is very, like, a little tiny. It never really puffed up on this ear. So
yeah.
I don't use headphones. Like, when I bought iPhone, I take out the box, has the headphones in there. I never touch them. So then when I get a new phone, I sell my phone. I have the box and the headphones.
Do you never wear headphones?
I never touched them. So I had the phone.
Like even like the big ones, like the cans over the years?
I don't own any.
So you never listen to music?
If I do, but I live by myself. I can just push play on the computer.
What if you're like on a bus or like a plane?
I think I do have a set of headphones. But the ones that go over your head.
Yeah, okay. All right, that would make a little more sense.
They're little. They cost like $10.
Yeah.
It's not something I do on a regular basis. But what I'm trying to get at is I could put those ones in your ear. A lot of people that have bad cauliflower ear, it's the tiny little hole there. So
yeah, it is weird. Cauliflower ear is a weird thing because I've coached freshmen who've gotten it.
Mm-hmm. It's just random.
And I know so many people who wrestled. I mean, I don't have cauliflower ear. So many people who wrestled throughout college. No. They don't have cauliflower ear.
Because you're on top beating on those guys.
Also, I do think it depends on how often you shoot. And after I hurt my back, shooting, getting underneath someone was kind of out of the option.
Kneecaps.
I can't lift up like this at all. So,
so
shooting
bones,
like that,
kneecaps,
shooting high crotches
shins.
was pretty much out. Shooting doubles was. Yep. I wasn't as explosive enough to just like blast through them without like having to use my back strength.
There's no science or statistics on this, but I would guess most of the cauliflower is when a guy's in the act of shooting.
Yes, yeah, I think so too. Well, you see a lot of guys only have it on one ear because that's the shooting side. Like they shoot high crotches. Yep. It's usually high crotches.
Doubles.
Could be doubles too. Yeah. So
yeah, but I think my opinion is headgear should be optional. I think if you want to have a beard, have a beard. If you want to have a mustache, you want a mustache.
I get if you don't have it can't be like
We spend so much
it
of
can
our
either
time.
be too long or it can't be too short because you can't like give someone like.
Yeah, but
that
are you gonna
those
not get a
burns.
takedown because his beard scratched you?
No, but you
Come
could
on.
have guys like doing this on the back and like giving you rashes and stuff.
But
I
it's
get
not
why.
gonna-
No, I get like I think you should be able to have a beard, but I don't think you should be able to have like the tiny stubble.
It's not going to be the point where that causes you to score or not score.
I know, but I'm saying that they can do it, and it like I understand why people wouldn't.
Well, they can bend your
Allow
elbow
that.
backwards too and hurt you that way. That's totally legal. But
Yeah.
scratching with beard.
But it's
Beard
a little
hair.
harder, like if you're on top and you're just like rubbing your chin into them and you're just
Right.
scratching their back.
To
up.
me, that's insignificant. I wouldn't care.
Well, I'm
If I was
saying-
in charge of
I'm
the
saying
rules.
I understand why that would be the case. Why you can't have, why they do have to check a little bit.
Yeah. Well,
Like, this would be
NCAA,
fine.
NCAA is letting people have facial hair now,
Yeah,
but it's something like you're talking about. There's some restrictions to it.
yeah, which I think there
How
should
long?
be.
I say if you want to have a big, long, giant beard, do it. If you want to have a mustache, do it. I don't think it impacts the sport itself.
probably not.
They just had this like clean cut image they're trying to portray a long time ago, with the sideburn limitation. Like, who cares how long your sideburn is? You know,
Yeah,
no one's gonna walk in a gym. They've never seen a wrestling match before and be like, that guy's long sideburns and leave. Or
Or
that
if
guy
it was Joe
has
Dirt.
that guy has a ponytail.
I'd stick around.
I'm leaving. They don't care. They want to see action. They want to see excitement. They
Do
want
you
to
think
see
it has to do with like hair pulling, for like
Yeah, but-
having like really long hair?
back to the girls wrestling.
They have to wear caps?
No, they got rid of that this last year.
Oh,
So
well, I
I
guess
mean-
we're heading in that direction.
how often do you see in a women's Olympics
But
match?
don't they have to have it up?
No,
They have to have it something to it.
they
right?
just do. I don't think they have to.
we were at a
It's kind of
tournament-
like you're supposed to tie your shoes, but they might not make. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
you're supposed to and you should, but you might not.
when we were at Gardner Edgerton, we had a kid who had too long of hair, and he didn't try his cap on
Mm-hmm.
before the tournament started, and so it just kept falling off, and eventually the ref was just like, "You don't have to have it if you don't want." He's like, "I don't care." I think he finished the match with no headgear
We had a wrestler.
because it was like attached to the headgear, and
Okay.
he's like, "We can just if you don't want to wrestle with it, we can
Yeah.
finish this match without it."
So it is interesting in the different styles. In freestyle, it's okay to have a ponytail, and in folk style, in high school match, you have to have a hair covering for the same person.
Yeah,
That's ridiculous. But anyways, with this 2 years ago, we're at a tournament. You know who I'm talking about? A guy. He has long hair, so he has a hair net thing
yeah,
built into the headgear.
Yeah.
It's the device. He had to purchase this thing. It's specifically designed for that.
yeah.
So he lost it, and he comes up to me and he's like, "Hey, coach," he's like, "Did you grab my headgear? You know, like playing a joke on me?" And I was like, "No, like that would be a good joke, but I didn't." And he's like, "Do you think someone else did? Because I can't find it." He couldn't find it, and he's on deck, like he's the next match.
Yeah.
And I'm like, "You have to find it. You have to have that. You can't wrestle without it unless you chop your hair off." And he's like, he was all nervous. He's looking around, and he's just gone. And they're like calling his name, like, "Hey, you're up, you're up, you're up." And we're all looking around. Where is he? And nobody knows. So then he comes back. He borrows a headgear from one of the other kids, and he pinned the kid in like 9 seconds. And the ref didn't notice or didn't.
Yeah.
And then he got off the mat as fast as possible. And then he went right back to the search for it, and he found it in the locker room.
Oh, jeez.
But he actually wrestled the match without
Was
it.
was it like a tournament? It was
Yes.
like a
It was like the
first
semifinals
round?
of a tournament.
Oh, jeez.
With the ref, the refs, they're in the zone.
They don't.
match,
Yeah.
and he just didn't. Sorry.
We've had it where
that out
things
and
like
post
that have
that in.
happened, and the other coach is like,
But he was so
Points it
nervous
out.
and so worried.
Yeah.
But he wrestled the match, and I was thinking to myself, like,
"What
all
would
right,
you have done?"
what is the big deal about having the hairnet? It did nothing to change the result of the match.
Yeah.
It didn't give his opponent an unfair advantage because his
Yeah.
hair is long. That guy didn't grab his hair when they did wrestle without it. And it's just
Yeah.
sometimes we make these rules. I just think they're
They're
ridiculous.
so dumb. We had a kid this year did that, but with like in practice, he's got braces,
Yeah, the mouth
top and
guard
bottom.
thing.
And I'm like, "Where's your mouthpiece?" And he's like, "What?" I was like, "You have to have a mouthpiece," because I think he cut his lip in
Well,
practice.
that could
And I'm like, "Well, do you not have a mouthpiece?" And
that
he's
could
like,
cut your opponent.
"Oh, for sure."
You know.
Yeah.
So there's
and-
a danger with that. Not
Yeah,
with the
no,
hair.
and I totally get it. And I was just like, "So where's your mouthpiece?" He's like, "I don't have one." I was like, "You don't have a mouthpiece? Like, you have to have a mouthpiece if you have braces." He's like, "I don't want to wear one." I'm like, No.
It's a rule.
This is not a recommendation. You have to.
it's a rule.
You have to have it.
Yep.
And so we are at a tournament in Iowa, and he's up 9-0, and the ref's like notices it in the second period. And he's like, where's your mouthpiece? He's like, and I'm like,
Forfeit.
I knew it.
Forfeit.
I knew it.
Yep.
And he's like, all right, start injury time, get a mouthpiece. And I'm like, did you have a mouthpiece? He's like, no. And he's like, his mom's like around there, and he's like, Mom, go buy me a mouthpiece.
But here's the
And
thing.
I'm like,
in
dude,
that
if we
example,
don't find you a mouthpiece, you're losing this match. And he did.
not
get a
having a
forfeit.
mouthpiece can hurt your opponent.
I agree.
Having long hair, if it gets pulled on, you're the one that gets
Yeah.
hurt, not them.
That's true.
So if you want to have long hair,
Well,
your opponent,
I do think it's different. Yeah.
your opponent doesn't care if you have long hair. It doesn't help him.
Yeah.
And if he pulls it, it hurts you.
Do you think it could be at all that
Braces
if it gets
can
in their
scratch.
eyes, then they can stop the match?
But it's hurting them, not the opponent. It's their choice to have long
Not
hair.
if they're like tired and stuff.
It's their choice to have long hair. No one made
I'm
them.
just being devil's advocate.
I know, I'm just
I mean,
saying.
I think it should be.
I don't think there should be rules about something that doesn't have a chance to affect the other person.
Yeah.
The braces does because that metal
you can
can
cut 'em.
scratch and cut
Well,
your...
and then blood time and stuff like that. You just bleed a lot
Yeah,
more.
it's going to cut their own list, but that's their choice if they didn't want to. But if it cuts their opponent, then you should have a rule against it. But the hair thing, having long hair doesn't help your opponent. It doesn't hurt yourself. And
Yeah.
if they grabbed onto it, which
What would I mean? They put in new rules this last year.
well, grabbing the hair is now an illegal hold. It's like locking your hands around, the
really?
your bottom.
Like if you
pull the hair.
Well, see, I think Dayton Fix would have a national championship right now if it wasn't for headgear. So.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I think the headgear will be gone in college very soon.
Cliff Keen makes a lot of money off headgear.
But just in college, I think it will remain in the high school level just because it's just a lot harder to change it.
There's no science to back it up, but people say it protects against concussions, and I don't think it does.
No, there's no way.
So,
and it's just it can get pulled on. I mean, it covers your mouth, and if it's looser, it gets twisted around.
you've always seen the kid who's never wrestled before put it on for the first time.
Yeah.
It's so loose.
Yeah, and then they go out and wrestle with it on like that. I hated it. I hated the chin straps too, though, because like they look cooler, but I'm like, I tried. I was like, I can't do this. It's just sweat puddling up in this
You mean the
chin
thing
strap.
that covers your chin,
Yeah.
not a strap that goes straight.
No, yeah, like the football chin straps.
You like that or don't like that?
It looks cool, but I hated wearing them, so I wore them down below.
I've noticed those kids have that, and it covers their mouth. They can't breathe. But once again, that's only hurting them. So.
Yeah. Oh, you mean the strap like this?
The cup one.
Yeah.
It covers their whole mouth.
Yeah.
They can't breathe.
Yeah. It's like a football.
But they chose to put that on. It was like no one made them. It's
Yeah.
not like a rule that says you have to have the chin cup type
yeah.
secure or whatever it's called.
I got you. Yeah, sweet. Well, we are over an hour already. You got any questions for me? Other than that, we can wrap it up.
I actually had one, and I can't remember what it was.
You don't have
Can you
to
hit
remember.
pause, and then I think of it, and then we push
Yeah, well,
play?
you can just think about it, and I can just cut this part out.
Okay.
While that happens, I'm going to get a Dr. Pepper from the fridge. And we're back. And I don't know if this is the same question he had, but
So my question for you, Drew, is how did you start the entrepreneur spirit? The whole printing of the T-shirts.
I don't have any Gogi stuff on.
How did you, you created your own clothing brand. Basically, you got to the point where you had shirts and shorts and tank tops and hats and socks and shorts and all these things. And then you just stopped it.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
well, this is
why did you
down
stop?
memory lane.
And also, how did you get to that point that made you want to stop? I have no fewer than 10 Agogi shirts.
I found I just found an Agogi shirt I wore like 2 days ago.
This took 30.
So-
this took 5 seconds
so-
to find.
Yeah, I did. Little Agogi shirt right here.
Yep.
Okay, so the way this all started is I was at Outdoor Challenge Camp, and Adam Keiswetter, my guest on this podcast, was there, and in between workouts,
OutdoorChallengeCamps.com.
OutdoorChallengeCamps.com, Valentine, Nebraska. Shout out to Steve. And I'm sitting there, and all these kids are coming up and buying Twister wrestling shirts just like this, and I see him do it had to have been $400 within
Not that much. Probably
it was
100.
a lot. It was a lot.
$10. $10. Probably $100.
More than $100.
Okay, you're exaggerating.
He was doing
whatever.
He was making some money just like in between these rounds. Like we're there for a week with these kids, and it was just all these kids were just coming up each session or after like when we're back at the place we're staying and just buying these Twisted Wrestling shirts. It's like that's a really good idea. And this was right after my freshman year at UNK, where you were one of the coaches.
Yep.
And I was like, oh, that'd be like a cool. So that'd be a nice way to make money because I do a lot of camps in the summer, and I probably did like 5, 6, 7 camps every summer. And I was like, oh, that'd be fun to like come up with an idea like Twister Wrestling, but not Twister Wrestling. Like, because yours was mostly promoting your DVDs.
Yeah,
but
which
then
in hindsight is a poor strategy. Are you familiar with the Savage Ruthless guys?
I know what it is.
Same thing, but they made it so that it applies to anything.
Yeah.
Savage. It's a hot buzzword.
Yeah.
And so they're selling to everybody: skateboarders, surfers, wrestlers, basketball
and so that's
players.
that was my thought.
Yep.
Is I was like, okay, so Adam Keiswetter is doing his Twister Wrestling thing.
Yep.
This is it's essentially what he's doing is selling these cool shirts and hats and shorts for a DVD.
Right.
But what was cooler than the DVD was all the clothes.
Yeah. My strategy was an advertising tool to sell the DVDs.
Yes. And I was like, okay, there's no wrestling brands at this point. This is 2009.
Yeah. There still isn't really.
Yeah, this is 2009,
Rudis.
and
that's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. I mean, there's what did you say?
Rudis.
Yeah, there's Rudis, and that's about it.
That's the only one I can think
That's
of.
the only one we have. So this was 2009, and I'm like, there's no wrestling brand. And I was like, but I can't, like, Adam Keiswetter's this master of the twister. I'm going to link the video of him hitting these twisters in the show notes or description or whatever it is. And I was like, so I don't have that. Like, I don't have a thing.
Yeah.
So I got to come up with a thing. So I remember I was like, okay, I want to come up with a name. Somehow I came. The year before that, 300 came out, and they mentioned about the
Sparta and stuff.
Sparta, and I went to Lincoln East, which we were the Spartans, and so I thought it was cool. They mentioned this thing called a gogi, which was like the training that the youth Spartans did, and I was like, oh, that's a cool name, a gogi. It sounds cool, like it's short, kind of all the things like that could be a brand. And so then
nobody owns it. Right?
No one owned it.
Yeah.
So
you can't trademark it.
Yeah, and I kind of looked into that. So there would have been like a Gogi Fitness or a Gogi CrossFit, or there's been businesses that had the name, but no brand.
But it'd be like trademarking sport.
No one had the trademark.
It'd be trademarking fitness.
No, not even that. Like you could trademark it, but nobody had.
Oh, okay.
So then I looked into it, and so then I got like one run of shirts made, and I sold those one summer.
You didn't make those shirts yourself?
Nope.
When did you get to the point
I got them from the same place you got your Twister shirts from. Because I remember, like, where'd you get your shirts? I had to buy 100 of them.
It was from Connecticut or something.
Yeah, it was from Connecticut. And it was like...
But how did you get to the point where you made your own shirts? How long?
Okay, so that...
Like 2 or 3 years?
Yeah, so then I just do that for a little while, and I'm just selling shirts. And then I got 100 shirts. As soon as I sold 50 of them, I bought another 100 shirts. So, and I just doubled whatever I got them for. So then I was like, I don't want to make any money, which is like a great business strategy. If you don't have to make money for 5 years... Start a business, because
keep
then you can just reinvest every dime that goes in, and
Yep.
it's literally impossible to fail in those 5 years, pretty much.
Yep.
Unless you start taking out loans and trying to get too big. So I just did that for a while, and then when I transferred to the University of Nebraska, I was like, now I am in my hometown.
Yeah.
I had scaled a Gogi to where it's like I can't.
Hard to keep up.
There's no point to me having somebody print these when I know I can print them myself. And then all these other people, once I got all my own printing gear, and it was like, I don't want to get 100 shirts every time. I want to get 25 shirts, or I want to get 50 shirts and a bunch of different designs.
Yep.
And maybe I want like this shirt on
same design,
different color, or different color print, or like, and so I kind of learned the way that went. And so then I got all the gear, and then,
didn't you internship at like a screen print shop?
No, I just went in and I went to DeMilco and just watched them do it.
You worked there though, right?
No.
Oh, I thought you worked there for a week or 2 or something.
No, I just watched them. I just like shadowed them. And then I think I shadowed one other
You're
place.
taking notes.
Yeah. Well, no, because I remember when I went in there, they're like, so you're not going to, because I had already I already put in my papers to transfer to Nebraska.
Yeah.
And so I knew they were concerned. They're like, so you're leaving Kearney. I was like, yeah, I'm leaving Kearney. Like, I'm living in Lincoln. I don't go to school here anymore.
You should have rented the storefront right next to their business.
Yeah.
Drew's Screen Prints.
but I didn't want to print other people's stuff. I just wanted to print my own.
Yeah.
And so, and it just got really good. And then I guess I don't want to say it fell off, but
once you got the equipment, had the capability to print other people. I know you printed some stuff for me.
And I did.
And that was a good way to pay for the equipment and stuff.
Well, when I was in college, I didn't print for other people.
Yeah.
It was when I got out of college and I had so many people offering
more free time.
me work. I was like, well, I had all the free time.
Yeah, exactly.
I was like, do I want to go get a 9-to-5 job? Or do I just want to keep doing this? Because like Agogi was making me money. Yep. And I could live off a lot of that. And then people were asking for get these other prints. I'm like, well, that's just pure profit.
And you were selling stuff on a website and stuff.
And I had a website, and I was just doing that. And it was going really well. But then I also had this other thing where I was like, I want to go to Europe right after. Because we went to Turkey, Bulgaria, France, which was my first international trip, really. And so then after that, I was like, hey, I want to go to Europe for a month after I'm done with school in 2013. So I did that, and I was like, kind of like that too.
Found your passion.
Yeah, a little bit. And so then I went through
on the road.
Yeah, so then I went through like the whole year, I'm doing Agogi, I'm doing these things, and I'm going, and then I'm like, well, I kind of want to go to the World Cup, and I want to go to Asia. So then I took like 4 months. Essentially, it was a 4-month span where I was only home for like 3 weeks.
So you're telling me your passion for traveling actually killed your screen printing
100%.
business?
Yeah.
Because you're gone and here.
Because then I was like, well, I need
to
go. I really want to do this because this is my favorite thing, like traveling. Like it was so exciting and just whatever that was. And then, but I could still do Agogi. I was like, you know what? I can shut it down. I'm only feeding me. I don't have employees. It's not a huge deal. But then, like as the years went by, like a couple years later, it was like, I need all new equipment. I need this is scalable. I had some people wanting to invest money. Yep. And I'm like, okay, what is this? Like, either this is what I do the rest of my life, and I put like 100% of what I want to do into Agogi, which it was successful, and it was going to keep getting successful. What percent
investor was your dad?
0. He did not want to invest.
He was the sweatshop owner, though.
The whole time he's like, when are you going to get a real job? I'm like, Dad, I'm doing fine.
He owned the warehouse.
Yeah, I was printing in my dad's basement. Yeah, that was nice. But I was like, okay, I got to get out of here. I got to hire people. And I could do it, but I was just like, is that what I want to do? Because now I'm never traveling again. Like, I don't have time. I could go for a couple of weeks, which is not bad, but I was like, that's not what I want to do.
You need to
literally
outsource.
The more I traveled, the more I was like, I want to go for 4 months,
you want
5
to
months,
outsource
6
100%
months.
of everything.
Yeah, but then I also didn't trust it. I just was like, I want this to be my thing, and it kind of sucks because it was one of those, this business I built from when I was like 19, that's cool. It's a clothing brand, and it's actually making money. Mm-hmm. Which sounds good to a lot of people, but I'm like, I didn't have a passion for clothes. Yeah. I was like, can someone run the Business? I'll like kind of do some of the designing and the marketing. I liked making stuff like that, but I was like, I don't want to wear every hat. And then it was like, I got to choose one or the other. And then I literally found like videography again as I was making that transition. I was like, oh, that's what I want to do. So then I just went that road, and then I kind of just slowly let Agogi fizzle out. I would like to start it again if somebody wanted to take the reins, but yet I still have some creative control over it, I guess, if that makes sense. Because I love it, and it's cool, but I just don't want to put...
You want to do
I don't want to do the day-to-day.
Like an Etsy shop where you have 100 different T-shirt designs, but you don't go print 1,000 of each one. You wait till someone orders it, print it, and ship it. That'd be a better...
I don't want to do any of that.
I know, but that would be a better way to... Because the way you did it was buy 100, sell 50, buy another 100, sell 50. And then you have your closet, and my closet the same way. I have like 10 boxes of T-shirts. Yeah. So I have like $500 of T-shirts just sitting in my closet.
Yeah. I have
probably 1,000.
In my inventory, I added it up if I sold everything. You know what? I'm not going to say that on air. I'm not going to say this on air.
A lot.
But, yeah.
And it's not good to have too much money just sitting in your closet.
No, but I have so many hats and shorts. And there was a big thing. I went to a manufacturer in Pakistan and to get fight shorts made.
I remember when you went to Asia, you were going to get out, like, go to the factory.
Yeah, go to the factory. That was my main, like, I'm going to Asia, so I'm going to travel, but I'm going to do business. Yeah. That didn't turn out well.
Because you don't speak Chinese.
Yeah, or it's Vietnamese. Oh. Yeah, that was the main thing. But, yeah, didn't work out too well.
That's pretty ambitious, though.
It was just a lot of, like, I wanted to do it, but I'm like, this isn't, I don't know. I let it go. I would start it up again because it's a cool thing. But then, like, now that we have locally, it won't do as well because now there's Temagogi, which ruins the brand 100% in Lincoln and in around Nebraska, which I knew was going to happen.
It's no longer unique.
Well, it's no longer. Nobody wants to wear Agogi stuff because now it's a thing. Now it's like a club
associated
team.
with that team.
Yeah, exactly. And so
like
that's
if I'm
why,
a Chiefs fan, I'm not wearing a Broncos jersey.
Yeah, exactly. So I knew that going into it, but my thought was hopefully kids will want to go to Temagogi somewhat because of the brand of what it is, but it's going to ruin it for everything else. But at that time, I'd already decided. I was like, I'm kind of
so in the video description, you'll have to do this to the listeners that these guys are UNK wrestlers and they made this thing. It's called Savage Ruthless, and it's of the same mentality.
Wait, Savage Ruthless is done by UNK?
UNK wrestlers.
Who?
Van Dorn is the one that I know. It's basically two guys. Yeah, that's two wrestlers. There's a wrestler on the front.
What?
So
where have I heard Savage Ruthless from?
It's the same thing, man. They created their own clothing brand. Isn't that cool?
That is cool.
But the bet and what you did better than what I did, I was advertising to try to sell more DVDs.
Yeah.
And it was specific to what I was doing, the name and the wrestling move. Yours was kind of general, but it was a trained Spartans back in the day and mascot kind of ties. This one is kind of like, could be anything.
Huh, that's cool. What's super funny is it's so funny to think about, like, I had like sponsored athletes and it was, here's my sponsored athletes.
Mersad Bektik or whatever.
Mersad. These are all before they got.
He's a UFC
outside
fighter.
of Travell. Travell Dlognev,
Yep.
2-time Olympic wrestler.
Yep.
Jake Ellenberger, Joe Ellenberger, 2 UFC fighters.
Kamaru
Mersad
Usman.
Bektik, UFC fighter. Jake had been in the UFC before that.
Yeah.
And then
UFC champ.
UFC champ Marty Usman.
So,
and that was when Marty was just wrestling. So
he was a sponsored
fighter as a wrestler. He wore. I have his first T-shirt ever.
Okay, but
I
did he walk out to the cage in the shirt?
I believe so.
And it said Agogi.
It had Agogi logos on it, and I think maybe on the shoulder it said Agogi, but it was like his custom design that was made.
Yeah.
And it's like got a big KM, and then it had.
Did you know I
It
sponsored
didn't
a
say
fighter?
the Nigerian Nightmare. What?
I sponsored a fighter.
Who?
John Pearson.
How long ago was this? I think I remember
It
this.
was like 2009 or 10.
In the UFC?
No, it was like fights in Kearney.
Oh, yeah.
He had never fought, never trained, nothing.
That's awesome.
And he tells me, he's like, hey, coach, I'm fighting this weekend at the Tri-City Arena.
Oh,
and I was like, for real? You've been training? He's like, I went to a couple classes or something. I was like, no way.
Was he a wrestler?
And I go, hey, if I give you a Twisted Wrestling shirt, you watch the cage? He's like, yeah.
You know what? Was this the same night that Marty fought his first pro fight?
Probably.
I think it was.
Houston Alexander is the special guest and stuff. Yeah.
That was the exact
so
same
he
night.
walked out to the cage wearing the shirt.
That was Marty's first pro fight.
And then he did, that's funny. So then he did the, like, put the shirt back on to get a hand raise.
You know what? I think I remember this because I remember because we were sitting together watching it, and you were like, "Here's my guy,"
yeah,
and he had his like Twister wrestling shirt on.
And then Adam Torres tried to do the face off with Houston Alexander, take a picture, and it made him mad.
Oh, that's really?
He's like, "You don't do a picture like that." He's like, "I'll take a picture with you, but I'm not doing the face off like."
Houston Alexander wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
Huh, that's weird.
But Adam Torres kind of like, it was the way he approached him.
Yeah.
You know, he kind of like came up and was like, oh, you know, and he's like, let's take a picture. And he like got like, he's going to fight him. And like, it looked like Houston Alexander's like, does this guy want to fight me? He probably knocked him out in 1 second. But it was funny.
That's so funny.
That's hilarious. I never thought that was the night of Usman's
that was Usman's first UFC fight. I remember. Because Michael Johnson, who won the Ultimate Fighter, who just fought last weekend.
He was the main event.
No. He just flew into corner Marty.
Oh, okay.
And so then me, Marty.
Who was the main event?
I don't remember.
Was it Dakota Cochran or something? What was that called?
It might have been
Tri-State Cage Fighting. That's it. So you've sponsored the UFC champion.
Yeah.
Your first sponsor.
I have his original. I still have some of them, but I have his first shirt ever.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty funny.
It's cool. The business began as I want to make $10 at a camp to an actual business to screen printing, sponsoring, and then it got huge. And obviously, like you just said, you didn't want to maintain this because it's like a huge, it's overload. It wasn't
what I really.
You wouldn't have a spare moment in your life if you print all those shirts.
Right here, he fought David Glover, and then he lost his next fight. But Let's find this.
Can you look at the event?
RFA 5. RFA 5.
And that's before RFA got purchased by
probably
some other.
What's it called?
Right
there. Downing Rinaldi. Yeah, there's Marty. Oh, dude, this is funny.
James Krause. I know that name.
Yeah, he's fought in the UFC, I'm pretty sure. Mersad fought on that card.
Yep.
I don't know if I was sponsored Mersad then.
Keep going. Tony Rodriguez.
Kamaru Usman.
Tony Rodriguez is a Kearney wrestler. Keep going down.
Jesus Sandoval. I used to train with that guy.
Where's he from?
Richard Barajas. I used to fight with him. He's from Mexico. He was just living in Kearney. Josh Smith.
Oh, man. Josh Smith. I remember him.
Oh, dude, this is funny. Looking at this. Enrique Torres. All those guys. That's pretty cool.
It's fun times, man.
Yeah, man. That was a long time ago. And that, when was it? 2012.
Wow.
Yeah. So that was Marty's first pro fight. And
it was on Access TV channel.
Yeah. That'd be cool if we could find that.
See, you started out this little, I want to make $10 off a T-shirt into a real business sponsoring guys. And
then they just let it go. Which sometimes I'm like, that kind of bothers me, but it doesn't. Because I'm like, I wouldn't want to go back to do it. But it would have been nice to.
Oh, well. It's a fun story.
Yeah. It was fun to do. And who knows? Maybe kick it back off. But all right. Adam Keiswetter, my guest.
Thanks for having me.
I will link his stuff down below. Got anything for him?
No.
It's a good time. We'll have to do it again. Hopefully things pass tomorrow, and then that's about it. How about Go Discoverers? You guys going to be pretty dang good next year again.
There you go.
So
future trivia fact for when you eat that time machine.
Yeah.
Who is the next team besides Millard South that's going to win a state championship in Class A in Nebraska?
Do you know?
How would I know?
Are you guessing? Oh, you're guessing. Oh, so this is like a cliffhanger.
Future.
Are you asking me who I think?
Yeah.
Lincoln Spartans, duh. Either that or the Columbus Discoverers.
I think we would be the two favorites. Like, honestly.
Yeah, could be.
Besides Millard South, of course.
Yeah.
They're on a run, man.
They're on a run. It'll be tough to beat, but
hopefully one of those two.
Adam Keiswetter, my guest. Thanks for watching.
Thanks.
Tune in next time. Don't know when that's going to be.